that's also why I always get a little bit pissed off when I see people getting TRT protocols of 250 milligrams of testosterone every 3 weeks. A bad protocol is the reason why some people continue to feel like crap even on TRT. What's up folks, it's Uranus from Brussels. Welcome to another video. Today we're going to talk about why your testosterone replacement therapy protocol is bad. I've been on hormonal replacement therapy for just about 8 years and you wouldn't believe the horror stories that I've seen or read because endocrinologists are using an injection frequency that is totally inadequate or horrendous, or dosages that are totally inadequate for the patient. In Belgium, for example, in Brussels where I live, the typical TRT dosage is 250 milligrams of testosterone every 3 weeks. It's even stated in the official notice of the product that it should be used every 3 weeks. Now I will tell you exactly why you will feel like shit on these kinds of protocols. So let's just get to it. So the purpose of HRT or hormonal replacement therapy is to replicate your natural hormonal production, regardless of the cause of your problem. Whether you abused steroids in the past, you fell on your nuts when you were a kid, or you took medication that completely destroyed your endocrine system. The goal is to replace what your body isn't producing, and without the ups and downs and the highs and lows where you're gonna feel like a god on day 1 and you feel like crap on day 5. So symptom relief by replicating what should have been produced naturally by your own body. No ups and downs. Yet I have seen so many endocrinologists that put people on shitty protocols and I don't understand why, because your patient's life is in your hands. When I started hormonal replacement therapy, my very first endocrinologist put me on the wonderful protocol of 250 milligrams of testosterone every 3 weeks. That's the typical bread and butter TRT protocol here in Belgium. What that does is literally put you on a hormonal roller coaster. The testosterone that you inject is esterized and releases progressively in your body. Now this is what that looks like on a protocol of 250 milligrams of testosterone every 3 weeks. You start super high and then by the end of week 2 your tank is almost completely empty, and there you have to go another week feeling like crap, running on fumes. The high starting dose can also result in a lot of side effects because your testosterone is getting super high, you're outside of the reference range for a couple of days, and as you may know, testosterone aromatizes into estrogen. If your testosterone is sky high, you will aromatize more into estrogen. So estrogen will rise too, and that can generate a lot of side effects on its own, like moodiness, water retention, erectile dysfunction, and so on. All the stuff you were trying to get rid of in the first place. You can actually suffer from low testosterone symptoms while having sky high testosterone because your estrogen is also too high and beyond what is necessary. And that is typical for these kinds of protocol, of starting super high and then crashing. What you need to understand is that testosterone esters have a different half-life. Half-life means that after that period, half of the product is still active in your system. The half-life of testosterone enanthate, for example, is just about 4.5 days. So if you inject 100 milligrams on day 1, after 4.5 days, there's still 50 milligrams of those who are active in your system. That's why injection frequency is super important. You don't want to be on a protocol where the first few days you have more than 1000 nanograms per deciliter of testosterone in your system, you're outside of the reference range, and then the last couple of days before your next shot you end up being worse than before you started treatment because your levels have completely crashed. That's also why I always get a little bit pissed off when I see people getting TRT protocols of 250 milligrams of testosterone every 3 weeks. A bad protocol is the reason why some people continue to feel like crap even on TRT, and some guys even feel worse on TRT than before, all because of a bad protocol. Spend enough time on Reddit and you will see crazy protocols like 100 milligrams of testosterone once per month. I have seen this protocol being used for people with delayed puberty, supposedly to trigger natural puberty. That's just crazy. 100 milligrams every 4 weeks. I've seen people that consider 500 milligrams per week as testosterone replacement therapy, and then there's the famous protocol of 250 milligrams every 2 or 3 weeks. Imagine you have a guy in his 40s and he's just not feeling like himself anymore lately. Libido is down, love handles are getting bigger and bigger, energy is down, the mood is like shit, the energy is shit, and the testosterone levels are borderline low. Total freeze between 300 and 400 nanograms per deciliter, and free T is borderline low. That person getting on testosterone replacement therapy with a protocol of 250 milligrams of test every 3 weeks will end up feeling worse than before. Why? Because, well, first of all, when you start taking testosterone, you stop producing your own. So you rely 100% on what's in the freaking needle. Then that guy is going to have sky high testosterone the first couple of days, and then he's going to crash, and he's going to repeat that cycle over and over again every 3 weeks. Super high, possibly high estrogen sides too, and then you crash. I've experienced this myself, of course, because I was on that protocol at my very start of TRT replacement therapy. I was on Testosterone every 3 weeks, and the result is after 3 weeks I had 180 nanograms per deciliter in my blood. Those levels are completely abysmal. Now I'm on a protocol with much smaller injections multiple times per week. So I inject 62.5 milligrams of testosterone enanthate every 3.5 days. That's 125 milligrams per week. I don't have the highs and lows anymore, and my testosterone levels are stable 365 days a year, and that is what you guys deserve too. And some doctors will absolutely not want to hear this. It's like they have blinders on their eyes or they have something stuck back there. I had this problem too. Recently, a urologist tried to explain to me that my protocol of 125 milligrams of test per week is only for gym fanatics and idiots trying to build bigger muscles, and that normally 125 milligrams should be injected every 2 to 3 weeks. Personally, I consider any medical practitioner prescribing 125 milligrams every 3 weeks as medical malpractice. The patient's life is in your hands, and testosterone is completely major to the man's quality of life. I've plotted testosterone release for 20 weeks on both protocols on a website you can get for free if you want. It shows you exactly how much testosterone is released in your body depending on the ester. So on one side you can see what a big injection of 250 milligrams does to you every 3 weeks, and on the other side you see my protocol of 125 milligrams per week splitted into 2 injections. As you can see, the second protocol, which will have you much more stable. You don't have that highs anymore, you don't have those lows anymore, you're pretty much stable all the time, and in my opinion that's what you want, and that's how you will get the most benefits out of your testosterone replacement therapy. So, conclusion: if you feel like shit on TRT because your doctor has you on a suboptimal testosterone protocol like 250 milligrams every 3 weeks, you might want to talk to them about reducing the dosage and increase the injection frequency to ideally 125 milligrams per week, because you want to avoid the highs and low. Like for example, me, every 3.5 days. Try it out, see how you feel after 2 months, get blood work done, ideally the day before your next injection, so you have your levels at the lowest point. Also, always talk to your doctor about this before changing your protocol. I only talk from my own experience, and I am not a freaking doctor. And if your endocrinologist doesn't want to listen, and trust me, some of them out there are as stubborn as donkeys, please change endocrinologists or doctors, because you deserve to have the best protocol and the best care. Ending it here. Leave me a comment to support my channel, subscribe to Uranus, and I'll catch you on the next one. Uranus out.